Hello out there, thank you for checking out my vlog this week. This will be my first full album review, so I'm going to go through this with a level head, a good use of etiquette and diction, and an unbiased mind as I go into this review. Yeah, that ain't happening. First of all, I'm not going to apologize for making this a biased review. I love Anthrax. One of the first heavy metal albums I can remember loving from front to back was their compilation Return of the Killer A's. And I was actually in attendance for their reunion show in New York City in 2006. And ever since that tour, people have been speculating when they'd be able to make a full album again. So after a long series of switched singers, misplaced musical ideals, and general clusterfuckery, the band came together under the original lineup to create worship music. So let's dive right into it. First 3 tracks on the album right off the bat. Earth on Hell, The Devil You Know, Fight 'Em Till You Can't. These 3 tracks rock. They're heavy, they're engaging, they're everything that I loved about the band to begin with. But one thing kept milling around in my head. John Bush. See, when Joey Belladonna left the band in 1992, he was replaced by the Armored Saint frontman John Bush. As a whole, when Bush was in the band, each instrument sounded significantly more aggressive. So for a lot of songs, it seems like while the band is going heavier and heavier, Belladonna got kind of left behind. Several songs on worship music were actually written with a different vocalist in mind, Dan Nelson, formerly of Devil Size. Be sure to write down who was in what band before Anthrax, because there will be a quiz on it. Some of Belladonna's singing is completely out of place. It seems like he's trying to accomplish vocal feats that he's just not capable of doing. So most of these songs were clearly written with someone else in mind, and with Belladonna doing vocals, it is still good, but it seems like it's missing that John Bush touch. Anyway, skipping ahead. The next 3 songs, I'm Alive, In the End, and The Giant, incredibly weak in my opinion. They sounded slopped together at the last minute, complete with uninspired choruses, lyrics, and melodies. When I first heard The Giant, I swear to God, I thought it was a Stone Temple Pilots with a heavier riff. So if I were you, I'd kind of just skip over those ones. They get back into the fold with Judas Priest. Yes, there is a song on an Anthrax album called Judas Priest. This is the only song on the album besides Fight 'Em Till You Can't that I think really emphasizes every instrument individually. Drums, guitars, vocalists, all put out to shine in their own element. Definitely a high point for the album. Crawl sounds like a Stone Sour song. Moving on. The Constant, in my opinion, is a pretty fun song, and it obviously shows a lot of influence from Dimebag Darrell, who was a good friend of the band and even recorded a lot of solos for We've Come For You All. And the final song, Revolution Scream, starts off pretty good, but then it just tapers off at the end. Come back, Anthrax, we love you! You can't end the album like that! We got CD time to fill, damn it! And apparently they heard us, cause they come back in a bonus track. So the album ends with an awesome cover of the Swedish punk band Refused song New Noise. I enjoyed it, but I think diehard fans might think it's a little too new metalish. So, it's time for an overall recap. This album is really interesting. It seems like they tried to make it a new beginning for the band, but honestly, a lot of them sound like some B-sides from Stomp 442 and Sound of White Noise. And I'm not saying the album isn't enjoyable, far from it. The riffs are everything we've expected from Ian and Caggiano up until now. Benanti's drumming is phenomenal as always. And Belladonna kept it together better than anything I've heard him record over the past 3 years. Do I feel the album was written for somewhat of a different lineup? Yeah. And it seemed kind of inconsistent in times. Some of the middle tracks completely killed any momentum we had after the first 3. Does it still work? For the most part, yes. I like the heavy direction the band seems to be going, but I hope they just continue with it. It's a bit of a hit and miss album, but when it hits right on the money. My final score, 8 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you're as into the band as I am. It may not be a perfect solution for diehard fans waiting for a full-fledged return to the original thrash stylings, but it's a start. And it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon, which is good. This is fun. I should do this more often. Gonna need more beer, though. Until next time, remember, life is too short to listen to bad music. Keep it metal, guys.